WNDS Sports presents Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring the best candlepin bowlers from all over New England. And now, in our 18th season, here's your host for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Dick Lutz and Mike Moran.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moran. It's our third ladder series of the season. Thus far, we've qualified 2 bowlers into our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year,
including Jeff Bagia last week beating Mike Morgan, and Gary Santor, who always seems to be in the Tournament of Champions, won our first ladder 4 weeks ago.
Over the course of the next 4 weeks, 5 bowlers will vie for that number 3 spot in the tournament. Let's meet our first 2 bowlers this afternoon in the new ladder series. First, our number 5 seed from Merrimack, New Hampshire, Gary Duffett.
He's been away from Candlepin bowling for over 10 years, lived in Pennsylvania, but he's back, and we're glad he made it to Stars and Strikes. Coming in with an average of 121, his high single 199, high triple 488, and he's a hometown favorite, bowls right here at Leda Lane.
And Gary bowled a 640 in his 5-string roll-off to earn the number 5 seed, and he'll be taking on number 4 seed Jack Daley from Quincy, Massachusetts.
Wasn't long ago we saw Jack bowl with Janet Pock in the mixed doubles tournament action, coming in from the average of 126. High single of 183. Jack's high triple is 465. Bowls at the fairway in Natick. Timberlane's in Abington and is on the Traveling Pro League on Friday nights.
It's Gary Duffett and Jack Daley. Let's get right to it. We're coming back with this afternoon's match right after this on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV. We'll be right back. And you will see the 5 bowlers who have qualified to participate in this ladder series. There you see 5th seed Gary Duffett, Jack Daley, Mike Salona, Ed Woodside, and the top seed Joe Stella. It's Gary Duffett and Jack Daley, with Duffett leading off here this afternoon. First to bowl in this first match from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Happy to have you with us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Smooth delivery by Duffett on the first ball.
People are saying, where have I seen that guy before? It's been a long time. Well, it has. Gary Duffett and his family moved away to Pennsylvania about 11 years or so ago and returned about a year ago, and now he's back in competitive candlepin bowling.
Did he take up 10 pins while he was down in Pennsylvania?
He did, as a matter of fact, as I recall. And he told me he averaged pretty close to 200.
It's a little bit of a different game.
It is a vastly different game. Both games very challenging. The scoring is higher in 10 pins, so people think it's easier. But I assure you, in its own way, it is not.
Another pocket shot for Gary Duffett, this time a tough leave. The 2 and the 8.
But he's got the guide that just create enough of a deflection to carry out the wood in the back if he hits it just right.
There it is, and he played it just that way. Good spare for Gary Duffett.
Very difficult spare if you don't have some wood to assist you, because just to punch straight through. The only time it's easy to do that, Dick, is when you got a full rack and you get the half Worcester. Then, of course, it happens all the time.
Piece of cake that time.
That's right.
Here's 22-year-old Jack Daley from Quincy with a big hook on his ball. And there's the spread eagle.
You're talking about the half Worcester a minute ago. I was out bowling at Acton Bowlodrome this past Sunday, and somebody came up to me and said, somebody left a half Worcester and said, do you have any idea how the name half Worcester came about? And I thought they were joking, because that's all we talked about last season. So I had to tell the story, which I'll refrain from doing now.
That'll be a 9 box for Jack. Halfway to Worcester.
So for the bowler who ends up winning this ladder, $1,000, but there's a bit of a way to go between now and then. Our runner-up today, $150. The winner will face Mike Salona, a newcomer, next week.
Jack off the head pin that time. Jack grew up in Homestead, Florida. He plans to move back to Florida in a couple of years.
Well, he took out the dead wood, but the 4 horsemen on the right side and the 8 pins still remain.
And a good 9 out for Jack Daley. Gary Duffett is 53 years old. Works in sales for Avery Dennison Corporation. He and his wife Diane I have 3 children. Tom is 29, a physical therapist. Marty, a daughter, is 26, and Kate, 24 years old, is in the 3rd year of medical school in Pennsylvania. He puts 5 in his mark.
And again, he's got some wood that will help contain the 5 pins, which will help start a chain reaction.
Here's another mark for Gary Duffett. He'll be looking for bonus money. $50 for 3 marks in a row. Our triple strike jackpot begins with $700 this afternoon. $30 in the bonus ball contest. At the end of every match, we have a bonus ball contest, which gives you an opportunity to play along. Send your postcard with your name, address, and pick a number from 0 to 10, how many pins you think our bowler will knock over, and send that postcard to Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashville, New Hampshire, 03063, as Gary Duffett was not able to pick up the bonus money.
Gary still feels that his game is still lacking in a few areas because he was away from it for so many years. He's averaging 121. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that. I do suspect, though, that when he was in his prime 10, 15, 20 years ago, he probably averaged a lot higher. And it's frustrating when you've been that good to try to come back again.
I know the feeling.
That's the first humble words I've heard you use in quite a while, Dick.
There's a strike for Jack Daley.
And he'll need that because he's coming off of 2 open frames up against Gary Duffett, who's got a pair of spares in the 2nd and 3rd boxes.
Try for 2 in a row. He'll put 9 down with the first ball.
Jack would like to rack up a little bonus money today because his car, his 93 Lincoln Mark 8, I think he said, is in serious need of some repairs.
He'll shoot for $50 when we come back. Looking for 3 marks in a row. Tight match here in the early going. Climbing up the ladder, Mike Salona, the number 3 seed. Ed Woodside is seated 2nd, and Joe Stella is the 1st seed in this ladder series.
Thin hit in the dinner bucket on the left-hand side. The 2-4-5-8 faces Gary Duffett with no wood on the deck.
And another mark. 3 marks in 5 boxes for Gary Duffett. Gary enjoys golf, fishing, and other outdoor pursuits in his spare time, and that time off the head pin, and just puts 4 in the mark.
That's what he did last time, but he got 6 pins instead of 4. So his fills have been 5, 6, and 4. That's the only part of his game that's not been too good today so far.
Put that one in the pocket and could not convert. Now the great crowd on hand at Leda Lanes. You hear him oohing and eyeing in the background. That'll be a 10 box and a 73 through 6.
Invite you down for our next, excuse me, Dick, our next taping will be Tuesday, December 11th, and that's when we have the mixed doubles competition. Always a popular segment in our show. Usually the 4th ladder. Kind of put aside the singles events for a month, and men and women get together, and we'll be doing that. If you'd like to come down and watch the taping, 10 o'clock Leda Lanes, Tuesday, the 11th of December.
Jack looking for bonus money, puts 6 in the spare. Tough shot, got wood on the deck. Look at this for a spare by Jack Daley and $50 in bonus money.
Is that how you would have approached that shot?
No chance. I'm not sure that he did either, but he'll take it. Watch it again.
Look at that.
Great spare for Jack Daley. Now looking for more bonus money. Threw it past the head pin. He'll put 7 in the mark.
Had a pretty wicked spin on that ball, which is very helpful sometimes.
1, 3, and 6, and there they go. 4 marks in a row for Jack Daley. Another $25 in bonus money, so $75 in his pocket. As he looks ahead to his marriage next year, next September, to his fiancee Erin.
I was trying to ask him all kinds of questions about the marriage and the wedding and everything. He says, I have no idea. She's doing it all.
She's currently at Regis College and plans to go to medical school, so a very ambitious future planned, well, for that young lady.
She's got to support his bowling habit. Just kidding, Jack. And he credits his grandma Mary for teaching him how to bowl at a young age, exposing him to this great game. It was probably 10-pin, actually, because he grew up in Florida, I think you said that.
He did. $9 for Gary Duffett. He's at 82. Falling behind here in the first string to Jack Daley,
who has put together 4 consecutive marks.
A little thin in the pocket that time for Gary Duffett. He leaves let's see, you've got the 2, the 4, the 5, the 7, and the 8.
Ball was fading, so he didn't get much action on the left side. It's been pretty accurate, but his pin action has not been that great for him so far.
That'll be a 10 box. 92 through 8 for Gary Duffett.
I suspect that his success generally is based on accuracy more than wild pin action, whereas Jack Daley gets a lot of great action off the sidewalls, and he probably doesn't have the accuracy that the more experienced Gary Duffett has.
Jack works on 4 marks in a row. Missed the head pin again, but got pretty good action and put 6 in the mark.
It's a question I get asked often, Dick. Is speed really a big factor or determinant in how successful you are in the game? And that, you know, I'm often lost for a response to that.
Look at that. The ball hit the pin and stopped on the lane virtually. And
I think if you have speed and accuracy, that's great, but a lot of times one is at the expense of the other.
10 box for Jack. He's up by 15 pins in the early going. Spread eagle +1. Got the 8 pin behind the 2 on the left side. 2, 4, 7, 8 on the left. 3, 6, 10 on the right. The 7, 8, and 10 remain. He'll take 2 of them for a 9 box. A 14-pin lead for Jack Daley with 2 boxes remaining in the first string. Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Mike mentioned our taping next month, and if you're looking for Leda Lanes, if you're coming from the south, take exit 7W off the Everett Turnpike in Nashua. There's a strike for Gary Duffett. If you're coming from north of Nashua, from the Manchester area, take exit 8. Watch Gary Duffett strike once again. The 4-pin a bit reluctant, but finally convinced. Gary works on a strike, threw it past the head pin again, held on to it just a little bit too long.
I think 33 has been a little more difficult for Gary this first match. He's put a couple of his first shots to the left of the head pin. This is his worst leave so far, but he'll get a fairly decent fill on the strike, a 7 fill. And with the 10, best he can do now is 119. Jack Daley is probably going to exceed that easily.
He's going to have to settle for a 7 box. 116 for Gary Duffett in the first string.
So the 4-pin remains on a solid pocket hit.
Now the mark for Jack Daley, his 5th mark of the string. Will they go? He's trying to wish it over.
Well, he's got some wood to assist him. It's the 7 and the 9. The pin in front of the 7 is probably going to fall into the channel, and now he hopes the dead wood can sweep across and take the 7 and the 9.
Can't do it.
Hit it maybe a little bit too high.
And a 10 box to finish and a 134 first string for Jack Daley, an 18-pin lead over Gary Duffett. As we head to the middle string of our three-string match, we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV right after this. Ready to go, second string from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Jack Daley, a 134 first string to Gary Duffett's 116. Daley carrying an 18-pin lead into string number 2. Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV is presented by Tri-State Megabucks and by the Thompson family of dealerships, Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Daewoo, McMulkin Chevrolet, and Nashua Hyundai, as Daley just missed on that spare opportunity.
The 10-pin actually jumped up off the plate and went back down.
That'll be a 10 box. Jack Daley bowls out of the fairway in Natick, Timberlanes in Abington. Participates in the Traveling Pro League with Dave Hodge.
We saw a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
The co-owner of a bowling center at his young, tender age.
Only been bowling for 8 years. Which in the grand scheme of things isn't a very long time.
Really. Although I met a gentleman who I'm going to guess was in his 70s before we began our broadcast today, Dick, who just took up bowling 7 or 8 years ago himself and had a 311 on his league this week, which is pretty good.
That's great.
So you're never too old to start the game of candlepin bowling, and your kids are never too young. If they can stand up and they can roll the ball with 2 hands, get them to your local establishment. By the time they're 4 or 5, put them on a league. And who knows, we could be seeing them on television here in a few years. Nice.
No doubt about that one, was there? As Gary Duffett threw it right in the 1-3 pocket.
The test will come now to see if he can come up with lane 33, something other than a hit to the left of the head pin.
Second strike of the match for Duffett. Again, right in the pocket, 2 in a row. He will be looking at $700 the next time he steps to the line. The triple strike jackpot.
What a turnaround for Gary Duffett after having so much difficulty with lane 33 in the first string.
Jack Daley now tries to respond.
There's the diamond on the right side and the 7 pin over on the left, but he does have some wood in the middle of the diamond that could help scatter things a bit. Missed the object pin though. So the momentum has shifted, and dramatically so, in Gary Duffett's favor here early in the second game.
10 box. There's a strike for Jack. Well, he responds with a strike of his own. Now Gary Duffett stands to the line. A chance for him. You see Jack's strike. $700 in the triple strike jackpot. He's got 2 in a row. And he's taking his time, getting ready to go.
Took a deep breath. Only happens once, maybe twice a year on average.
Here it comes. Half Worcester.
Oh. What a letdown that must be, huh? He really took a chance going for it on the left-hand side, knowing that there was a gap waiting for his bowling ball to be sucked in. But he was able to nick a couple more pins.
And he'll take a 9 bucks. No triple strike jackpot for Gary Duffett. At least not then. And another half Worcester. The same shot. It's like an instant replay.
It's been his only real problem today. He's been over there on his first shot on lane 33. Congratulations to Chris Sargent, who was the winner of the WCBC event.
Nice spare for Gary. as he converts the half Worcester into a spare. So we go to a break. Tight match shaping up near the halfway point. It's Gary Duffett and Jack Daley when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua. Right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Jack Daley ready to go. He's working on a strike. We still have $700 in the triple strike jackpot, as Gary Duffett was not able to convert after putting back-to-back strikes together in the first couple of boxes.
Wanted to mention, as I started to before the break, the Pro Tour back in early November in Saco, Maine. Chris Sargent was the winner for the men with a 14.05, taking home $825. Tommy Morgan, who's been ill recently, has done well. He came in second place, 13.59. Bruno DeFeo was third. Mike Kusha was fourth, and Craig Holbrook, who we haven't seen on the show for a while, came in at number 5. The high single out of the money is a fairly regular bowler on our show, Sean McKinley, with 176. For the women, Maria Mazzarella was the winner, 11.79. Joanne Rosano, a multi-title owner, 11.70. Janice McIntyre, Amanda Hill, and Donna Pope rounding out the top 5 in Saco, Maine in early November. Congratulations.
Did I ever tell you that I lived in Saco?
Did you? If you did, I missed that.
Lived there for 7 years.
Wow. How does a kid from Worcester end up in Saco? There must be a story behind the story.
Oh, we ran a radio station in Pittsburgh, Maine for
Did you?
several years while we were up there.
Was it a good experience?
It was an experience. 9 bucks for Jack Daley. Saco was nice. Saco was great. Really enjoyed Saco.
Right up there on Route 1, huh?
Yep. Well, he seems like he has an adhesive on the ball to his hand, and it's pulling it to the left-hand side. He sure knows how to correct it, though, doesn't he?
He's really making it tough on himself, though.
Puts 2 in the spare and then makes another spare. Watch it again. You saw the tail end of it as he picked up the spare. And now he tries for some bonus money. That's in the pocket.
Says,
He'll put 7 in this one.
Not going to go left again if it kills me. And a very, very close match. As Jack Daley had an 18-pin lead going into this second game.
4 marks and 5 boxes for Gary Duffett, looking for bonus money here. Not going to make it. It faded away. I mentioned during our last ladder series we were remembering some of the old bowlers from the old Channel 5 show. And I brought up the name Dick Chafee, who was one of the legendary bowlers back in the late 50s, early 60s on that show. And Tony Zernicke here today for the taping told me that Dick Chafee passed away last month.
I'm sorry.
From Western Massachusetts. He was in his 90s, and he was a teacher along with Tony's wife Stacia back in the 60s and 70s, a teacher of Candlepin bowling, and just one of the great names in Candlepin bowling. Sorry to hear about the passing of the great Dick Chafee.
Somebody had written to us recently about the whereabouts of Rosario Laquiera, who for many, many years was on the Channel 5 show. And my friend Al Chester, who's also my guardian angel here at the score table, tells me that he's now living in central Massachusetts, a former resident of Waltham, living in Webster these days.
Back to the action with Jack Daley. On a spare, he puts 6 in the mark. Not going to convert it. One of the things that we can almost be guaranteed of is if we throw out a question regarding Candlepin bowling or bring up an incident that might have occurred over the past 20 or 30 years, someone out there will know about it.
That's true. And we always appreciate your mail, your correspondence with us, either to WNDS or Leda Lanes. We get the mail from both sources. And we do appreciate you giving us your history perspective on this great game that's about 120 years old now.
Which reminds me, we got a wonderful email from Kristen Robichaud of Amesbury, Massachusetts, who writes, my son Jacob, who will be 3 years old in December, watches your show every week. Not only does he watch the replay on Saturday, I have to tape your shows for him so he can watch them all week long. He loves bowling. He bowls at least twice a week at Leo Super Bowl in Amesbury and is really quite good. He's still watching the Tournament of Champions from last year. And when he bowls at home, he pretends to be Mike Morgan, who is currently his favorite bowler. He's hoping that maybe someday he will be able to bowl on your show. Keep up the good work. Kristen Robichaud from Amesbury, Massachusetts. Well, Jacob, you keep bowling away, and we'll look to see you.
Jacob, wave to us on a TV, pal. Wave to us. All right, so it's just a single pin left for Gary Duffett, but not real great wood.
Looks like it's too far out in front. Got no choice but to play it, and he played it well. He capped it nicely and picked up the spare. Big spare for Gary Duffett.
Well, we're not setting any scoring records today, but we've given away some bonus money to Jack Daley, who had 4 marks in a row last game, but that's it.
$75 in bonus money for Daley from the first string. Daley had an 18-pin lead going into the string, and Duffett's chopping away at it.
A nice break. The 2-pin went down over on the right-hand, make it the left-hand side, leaving only the 3, 6, and the 10. Very makeable spare, but oh my!
Nice shot.
Missed the object pin.
Jack Daley. He'll take it.
I was about to chalk that up as a non-spare.
By the way, if you would like to email us, our email address is WNDS_TV@yahoo.com. On the spare, Jack puts 7 in the mark. Well, the wood is there. You see Jack trying to direct it. It's not moving for you, Jack. It's not going anywhere. He was trying to push it a little bit.
This would be a great shot if he can graze it.
Nope, couldn't convert. He's at 115. It'll be a 116 for Jack Daley in the second string. A 2-string total for Jack of 250. Gary Duffett now working on a mark. Looks to take control of the match with a strong finish here.
Question is, can he hit the head pin and not go left, as has been his pattern today?
Well, he shot it to the left side, missed the head pin. Puts just 5 in his mark. He's had very low counts in his marks.
4 horsemen on the right, the 8-pin in the back. Tough spare to make.
Well, we're going to have a tight match going into the third string. No doubt about that. It's going to be an 8-box. He's at 119.
So he needs a mark to take the lead.
In either case, it's going to be under 10 pins going into the third string.
Again, a very difficult spare, the 1, 2, 9, and 10. There's no wood to help him out.
Got a shot at it. Great spare for Gary Duffett. I saw as soon as the ball left his hand, I thought he had a shot at it the way it was heading down. So Gary Duffett anything above a 5 gives him the lead. He puts a 9 in the mark and finishes with a 138. And he will take a 4-pin lead into the third and final string of our first match of the new ladder series. It's Duffett with a lead over Jack Daley. And we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Gary Duffett ready to bowl, ready to start our third string. He has a 4-pin lead over Jack Daley. A 138 second string for Duffett to Jack Daley's 116. Don't forget, we have prize money for the highest string of the match as well. Another $50 to the person who rolls the highest string in the match. And right now, that's Gary Duffett with the 138. And again, he threw it to the left of the head pin. Will he convert? Not quite. That pin wasn't quite long enough as it fell over.
Yeah.
He starts out with a 10 box.
Now we're in the thick of the NFL season, and following our show every Sunday, you can enjoy up to 5 games at once at Kegler's Den here at Leda Lanes. Lots of fun football to watch with your friends following Candlepin Stars and Strikes. The NFL gets underway at 1 o'clock on Sundays for another couple of months anyway, so please join everybody here at Kegler's Den on Amherst Street in Nashville.
Ooh, he did not convert. Thought he was going to make it the way the wood was set up, but it didn't take it. So he'll be open through the first 2 boxes of the 3rd string. A pair of 10s for Gary Duffett. Now Jack Daley.
Yeah, they moved away for Gary's job back in the late 80s, and decided once the kids were grown up and on their own to come back to home, to family, and they're very happy they've done that.
He enjoyed living in the Everglades. Gary did, Jack Daley, and plans to live in Florida permanently. You don't think he'll have withdrawals from Candlepin bowling? He won't have any Candlepin bowling.
You know
down
he
there.
will. You know he will. I'm not sure if his fiance Erin is from this area, but she may have a little something to say about that pending move back to Florida.
A 9 box for Jack as he starts out.
And she's doing all the wedding planning for their nuptials next September.
Threw it past the head pin. He's got the 1, the 2, and the 10. No wood to help out. Tough shot.
A lot of our young bowlers have gotten married in the course of us watching them grow up, I guess, for lack of any better way.
Jack thought he was going to make it. He liked the shot when it left his hand. Thought he was going to make the shot and didn't get the help. That'll be a 9 box for Jack. So he's lost 2 more pins to Gary Duffett. Duffett's lead now 6 with 8 boxes remaining.
People that may be new to the game of Candlepin bowling, when the ball goes in the channel or the gutter, takes out a pin there, and then it jumps back on the lane and knocks down a pin. That pin is dead. Once the ball hits the channel or the gutter, it's no good. So you don't count that. You subtract it from your score.
Again to the left of the head pin, but this time he gets a break. Just the 1 and the 3 remaining. Missed it.
Too thin. It's a shame because he had the, looks like frozen wood against the 3, which would have helped him had he just gotten a little bit more of the 1 pin.
Was not frozen. Didn't take it with it. 9.
It's funny, 65, 70 feet away, it looks radically different than when you're up a lot closer.
Average of 121, as you see. That's in the pocket.
No
Feast or famine.
Hammered that one. The 4 pin was the last to go down. It didn't take long for it to go.
Watch it again. Watch that 4 pin on the left of your screen. There it goes. Now Jack Daley with some work to do. He throws one in the pocket. That's the 2 pin that's still standing. And he has it all the way for the mark. Good pin picking by Jack Daley that time.
Saw Jack on mixed doubles back in January. He won with his partner Janet Pock, and he freely gives her all the credit for winning that match.
She made the incredible shot.
Oh my. One of the best shots we'd ever seen.
Jack puts 9 in the spare. This time the 4 pin.
Well, listen to the
Still
score they
stands.
had, Dick, as a doubles team. Beating Sean Baker and Tony Wellspring, and then Tom Morgan and Karen McCormick. 430 as a mixed doubles team to 351. It's going to be a long time before a doubles team exceeds 430, and Jack Daley and Janet Pock did just that.
Well, Jack missed the spare, so we go to the break. Tight match heading down the home stretch. 6 boxes remain. Don't go away. Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues. from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS-TV. Gary Duffett ready to bowl. He'll be working on a strike. He trails by Jack Daley by 4 pins, not counting what Gary puts on the strike. So he could take the lead with a good fill in the strike, and he will. His lead is at least 5 pins. Could be more if he makes a spare right here.
Wood will not be a factor in his shot here unless it's by accident.
Missed it. Put it right through the opening. So put 9 in the strike. Duffett, a 5-pin lead, box to box. And he'll take a 10 box. That was a costly miss for Gary Duffett.
Took a 4-pin lead into this 3rd and final game, which is much too close for comfort with the explosive nature of Jack Daley.
Once again, he missed the head pin on the left side. Leaves the 1, the 7, and the 8. Piece of wood there. Has to figure into it. It's that close to the 1 pin.
Not all that helpful, but you can't ignore it, I guess.
Unless he sneaks it by to the left, but then he would have a tough time picking up both pins in the back. Gonna play the wood. Try to get a roll. Will not hit it hard enough. That pin rolled into both the 7 and the 8. They're both wobbling, but not going down. This will be a 9 box for Gary Duffett. Leaving the door open for Jack Daley with 2 open frames. Daley needs a mark to take the lead back. Breaks up the split and leaves the 10 pin in the right corner.
That would have been a mess.
The 10 pin still stands, and it still stands. It was in the gutter. It will not count. That'll be a 9 box for Jack Daley. Missed opportunity for Daley.
Especially in light of the fact that he nearly had a split. Suddenly it's reduced to a single pin spare, and he missed it actually by quite a lot.
Now Jack on the head pin. Again breaks up the split.
He really torques up his right shoulder when he throws that ball. He's got a tremendous amount of spin on the ball. I would think over many, many years of doing this, boy, it might take its toll.
He missed another spare. 2 missed opportunities for Jack Daley. The 3 and the 6 pins still standing. A 9 box, a couple of 9s for Jack Daley. And with 4 boxes remaining, Gary Duffett has a 6-pin lead.
Another great match coming down to the last couple of frames here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Boy, both bowlers can look back on missed opportunities.
Must be very painful for them to be watching this today, as I assume they are.
On the head pin, broke up the spread eagle. He's got the 2, 4, 7 on the left, the 6 and 10 on the right, the wood in front of the 6 and 10. Tried to slide the 2 pin over, didn't get it. And that'll be a 9 box. Both bowlers with just 1 mark in this 3rd string.
Our bowler next week is Mike Salona. We'll take on the winner of today's match.
And another strike for Gary Duffett in the 8th frame.
It's either strike or bust for Duffett this game, Dick.
Tip of the hat to our crew working here today at Leda Lanes. Our director, Stacy McCutcheon. Don Cronin's on audio. Dan Feely's working the replay machine. Monica Colby's on graphics. The engineer and working the videotape, Larry Taylor and Paul Hunter combining. Kevin Sheehan, Steve Kenny manning the cameras and doing a great job.
What a shot that was. A clutch spare in the 7th frame for Jack Daley, who now must face a Gary Duffett 8-frame strike.
On the head pin, a little too full. He'll put 6 in the mark. Our associate director, Kevin LaFawn, didn't get the credit he was due. Kevin, you are due credit. Missed the spare.
But Kevin would probably be much too humble to ever call that to your attention, so I'm glad you noticed it, Dick.
$9. My headphones are still vibrating. Are you kidding?
Paul Ouellette, by the way, is our scorekeeper here at Leda Lanes for the bowlers and for the audience, so that they can get a better look at the score, because it's tougher for them to see the monitors that you see at home.
Working on the strike. He threw it into the 1-3 pocket that time, a little bit thin.
4, 5, 7, 8.
Piece of wood between the 4 and the 7. That's the way to play the shot right here. That's what he's doing. He missed it. He missed the wood, so he put 7 in the strike. He maintains the lead.
Difficult day for Gary Duffett, but he's managed to hang in there.
And a 9 box. If he does not mark in this frame, it will be a 1-mark situation for Jack Daley. That one got away to the right-hand side, overcompensating perhaps a little bit.
4 horsemen left side, 9-pin in the back. Again, a very difficult spare, but he really needs it here.
Threw it past the head pin, so he'll be open. It'll be a 1-mark situation for Jack Daley. He'll need a mark to win the match. A mark and a pretty good fill. Well, an 8 box, so it's a 110 and a 364. So Jack Daley needs 25 pins in 2 boxes to win the match. Just that simple.
Not quite as experienced as Gary Duffett. We'll see how he works under pressure here.
He works pretty well. He threw it right into the pocket. They surround the 8-pin. Piece of wood comes out deep. That's the only wild card right now. It could spray past it, although not likely. He takes the spare. He just did nudge it. Just did nudge it.
So funny to see a guy throw the ball as hard as he does and just see the pin just barely tip over.
Now he needs a good count. He gets 6.
He needs 9 altogether.
There it is. The match belongs to Jack Daley. He has a 1-pin advantage right now, and it will be a 2-pin win for Jack Daley over Gary Duffett. A final score of 366 to 364. Jack Daley advances with a come-from-behind win over Gary Duffett. We will return to Leda Lanes in Nashua to meet our bowlers and look ahead to next week when we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Well, Jack Daley advances with a 2-pin win over Gary Duffett. Went right down to the wire.
Really, the only question was, would the lesser experienced Jack Daley be able to overcome the more seasoned bowler Gary Duffett in the last 2 frames with all the pressure on? And the answer is yes, he did.
Let's meet our bowlers this afternoon. First, we'll bring on our runner-up, Gary Duffett, this afternoon. Gary, a check for $150 for you, and we have some $50 in bonus money for having the highest ring in the match. Michael and I were trying to analyze the situation during the course of the match. You kept missing the head pin to the left. How do you compensate or try to change that?
Well, my problem was my timing was off, and I was rushing the line, and that's what happens. And I have to recognize it, slow myself down, and it's just a matter of rhythm. I just lost it quite a few times, and at the worst possible times, on spares especially.
Having been away from the state and from the region and been away from Candlepin bowling, does it take a little while to get your timing back after being away as long as you were?
Yes, it does. Last year was my first year back, and it was a long struggle, but it's getting better. I'm getting there. You know, one of my goals this year was to make the show, which I did. I should have set a goal to win the show. But maybe that'll happen next time.
Gary, congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Gary Duffett, our runner-up here this afternoon. Now Jack Daley will roll a ball in the bonus ball contest. We'll try to match him up with a winner at home. Go ahead, Jack. A deuce. All right, Michael, reach into that bin and let's see what we can do. See if we can find a winner here. And $30 is the cash jackpot.
Not completely filled out.
Now we've got to. You've got to remember to put your name, address, and pick a number from 1 to 10, and we'll see if we can match you up with a winner. This is Janet Prevette from Norfolk, Massachusetts. She guessed 8 pins. Incorrect. We have a consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts, and Jack Daley comes in. And Jack, congratulations to you. You had him all the way in that one, huh?
I don't know about that. It was tough. I was getting real, I don't know, anxious up there and throwing the balls away and missing easy stuff, so I got lucky.
In the third string, you had a couple of spare opportunities that you were not able to convert. What's going through your mind at that point?
Just I don't know. I couldn't even think of it. My hands were sweaty and throwing the ball left and right and just not spinning right, and I don't know, the list goes on, how bad I was throwing the ball.
But ultimately, you made the big spear at the end, and you were able to sneak away with the win. We'll see you next week. Jack Daley, congratulations. Jack Daley, our winner this afternoon.
Janet Pock, congratulations.
He climbs the ladder. Up we go.
That's right. Mike Salona, it'll be his very first time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, so another relatively newcomer to our show next week.
That does it from Leda Lanes. For Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Remember, let's go bowling.